What is up, Impact Nation? Welcome to another episode of the Anthem of Impact Wrestling Show. I'm your host, as always, Jason, and I'm back, finally reviewing Impact Wrestling, the weekly show. I've obviously I've already been over this. They did 2 weeks of reviews. I'm not gonna year-end review. I wasn't gonna review those. The weeks leading into those, there's a couple weeks there where just I was busy and didn't really have the time. Also, like I said, and to be honest with you, this review is going to be a little critique. I don't want it to come off like I'm trying to now diss everything that's going on in Impact. I don't want it to come off like that. I am being very critical. I kind of noticed this. I was about halfway through the show. I'm like, man, I'm being really down on a lot of stuff. And there's part of me that's like, you know what? The only reason why I'm still bringing this up now is because these are things that have always kind of bugged me a little bit. But I haven't really talked about it on the review show because there's not a whole lot of point in bringing this stuff up. Now the reason why I am is because we know that there's new creative vision coming in. So the next set of Impact tapings that we'll get, we'll hopefully see a little bit of a newer vision. There's still kind of question. I think it's up in the air, to be honest with you, whether or not any of this, with the taping starting next Wednesday, if we're even going to get any more of these Canada shows. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, and and I'm being honest. If anybody knows out there, please let me know down in the comments or hit me up on my Twitter at Anthem of Impact. They never gave what they usually do next week, right? Hey, next week this matchup's going to happen. Oh, watch out for next week because next week this is going down. I don't remember them talking about that at all. Not one single match that I can remember them saying next week they're going to do this or this is going to happen. This match is going to happen. I don't remember. So again, and to be fully honest, I talked about this with some people on Twitter on my personal account. They were bringing up, where's this barbed wire massacre match? We've been waiting for, because they want to say they videotaped that the second night of tapings after the pay per view. So it was pay-per-view, a night of tapings. Then I think it was that second or third night of tapings that they did it. So they did it early, and they still haven't gotten to the barbed wire massacre match yet between OVE and LAX. Obviously, everybody's want to see that. The more I think about it, because I want to see it too. Don't get me wrong, I really want to see it. There's part of me that's thinking though that they're probably not going to have it on Pop TV. There's a PG rating for Impact, which I don't like. I wish they'd go back to at least 14. That could be one thing that hopefully the new creative vision will see. Yes, in the long run, sure, you're going to make more money, I guess, if you make it family friendly. But one way to make yourself different, don't go crazy with it, where it'd be almost like TVMA, like ECW was growing up. But I think you can go a little more adult with it, gear it more towards. Sorry, my hair looks all kind of weird in this video. Sorry. Anyway, gear just a little more towards adults, college kids and adults. Again, you don't have to go crazy with it, but hopefully that's what they'll do, and we could get maybe a match like a Barbed Wire Massacre match on the weekly TV show. I just don't see censors letting that happen. So why did they do the Barbed Wire Massacre match? I'm guessing maybe a one night only. It could be put on something else. I'm not sure. Maybe they just did it to get people to come to the taping. I don't know. Outside of that match, I'm hoping going forward that they scrap and they do just do whatever tapings, because it's time to move on. It's time to because this finally seems like a firm group of people in charge that'll be in charge for a good chunk of the future. They're going to be given the leash and the ball to run and do what they need to do to get things correct. You know, I don't think it's going to be one of these things where it's like, oh, a month or 2 months in, never mind, we don't like where we're going. I think they're going to allow them to really implement, and I think they're going to do it kind of slowly so it doesn't seem like it's so abrupt, everything's just changing. They're going to slowly transition into what their vision is. But I'm ready for it to start going. You know, if some of these other tapings that they have left, if they don't mean anything going forward and what they want to do, why put them out on TV? Whenever you have a taping going on Wednesday, you know, you can make Wednesday show Thursday night's episode of Impact. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do those tapings. I don't know how it's all going to go down. I will say, hopefully, I am looking forward to seeing a barbed wire massacre match between those two teams. So hopefully that goes down. If not, it just if they were going to do another Canada taping show, I think we would have seen and don't forget, next week we'll have this. Because, you know, it would have been ready to go. But they didn't. So, I don't know. So again, I'm going to be critical because we have this new creative vision coming. So I'm pointing out things that I'm hoping get changed or I'm hoping get fixed. I'm hoping get more scrutinized whenever they're going over this stuff. Because there were so many things on the show that just, things that had kind of bugged me, but I kind of went, it's okay. It's no big deal. You know what I mean? Because I kind of tried to make up for the fact of, okay, well, yeah, that was kind of a mistake, but oh well. But now I was kind of looking at it a little differently. I'm willing to point it out a little bit. But so we'll dive in some overall thoughts before I really dive in segment to segment. Again, I thought last night was an okay show. It was okay. Again, and we'll get into it whenever I start going further into the actual show. But a lot of it does have to do with knowing, like, a lot of this doesn't matter. It just doesn't. So I can only buy into what's going on in the match a little bit. One thing that kind of has always kind of bugged me, this is something that they need to work on. Again, I've never pointed it out too much in the past, but specifically with these Canada shows, you know, there's been a lot of discussion about how many people were actually at the show, how big of a crowd it is. And it looks, if you really pay attention, it looks like a decently big show, or a big turnout for the audience. But whenever Impact has it all blacked out in shadows, it looks empty. It looks like an empty, hollow warehouse. Unless you're really paying attention, you can kind of see the people where the lights are basically off. So that needs to change. Well, you know, show that you have people there. It doesn't have to look like you just have everything bright, but during matches, kind of bring up the lights a little bit more. You know, show it off a little bit that there's people there and they're cheering and they're having fun. Or else all you see is like the first about 4, maybe 5 rows, and that's all you see. At least whenever, like, you know, the hard cam's on the match, and then you get the crowd in the background. So that's something that I would like to see change. Yeah, so anyway, again, some of this other stuff I'll dive into more as we go through. So we started off the night with AT&T showing up, and Dane Lambert tells the rest of the guys, you know what, it's just me and Storm tonight. I don't need you guys. Take the night off. We all knew what that meant. We all knew what that meant. They were coming back. That was a ploy. So anyway, then we get our first match of the night, which is the X Division title match. And we got Taiji Ishimori versus Trevor Lee with Caleb Conley at ringside. And again, this is another example of why they can't keep taping so far in advance. Because excuse me. Because a lot of times, especially if they don't tape in order, it's hard to keep track of what they have on their TV product and what actually happened afterwards and when to employ that in public. Because I was pretty good about not seeing spoilers, and I've been pretty good outside of a couple things. Obviously, the Laurel Van Ness rumors brought out people just blurting out, "This is bullshit. We gave her the championship," and because people either read spoilers or at the tapings, so they would just blurt out that spoiler. So I knew that was coming, and then I knew this was coming, and this was not. This was only because now I follow Pro Wrestling Noah on Twitter. I also follow, obviously, like Eddie Edwards, and Eddie would either post pictures of him and Ishimori with the X Division title, or Noah, were putting pictures of one of their, posting pictures up of one of their last events, and there's Ishimori with the X Division title. I'm like, I guess Ishimori wins the X Division title at some point. So I knew this was going to happen. So it takes away like the interest level into the match. Can I sit there and watch and say it was a good match? Sure. And yes, it was. It seemed like the start off, it took them a little bit to kind of get in a good groove and a rhythm. Once they found that groove, oh my God, that match was amazing. It was a great just in-ring match. But again, I just kind of sat there like, okay, it's a good match. Okay, cool. But there's nothing in there for me to like sink my teeth into and really be like, oh, are they gonna have him win it? Oh my God, are they actually gonna have Ishimori win it? I didn't have any of those feelings because I already knew he won it. And those are the things of, in one instance, it's the tapings, right? Doing so many tapings at once is at fault. The other at fault is the fact that they're not sitting there with Pro Wrestling Noah going, do not have him in public with this title until after this episode is going. Because you can't have that. And even I think it was in that same match. Yeah, in that exact same match, Josh Matthews says, and Eddie Edwards is their GHC World Champion. No, he ain't. No, he's not. He was. And probably at the time that you were taping this, he was. He's not now. And that just shows, like, everybody knows that they're taped, and that's fine. You don't have to hide the fact that you're a taped product. But your announcers should somehow, some way, make it seem like they're not outdated. Because then for the viewer at home, you don't care anymore. Because it's so obvious that you can't make it so obvious that you're taped, but you don't necessarily have to hide the fact that you're taped, that you're a tape show either. But, again, mentioning that Eddie Edwards is their GHC champion, no, he wasn't. I mean, or he's not, like, currently, as of last night, he is not. And again, how do we know that? Because Eddie posts pictures saying, man, I can't believe I lost the championship, but I'm thankful I had that opportunity. GHC, or Pro Wrestling Noah, posting pictures talking about their new GHC champion. And, I know not all Impact Wrestling fans follow him, but a good majority do because, Impact Wrestling fans are very loyal. Once you make a partnership, they're going to go watch it. I guarantee WrestleCade would not have done as well this year if it wasn't for the fact that Impact Wrestling did a partnership with WrestleCade for that event. And, had, the Impact World Championship up for grabs, had American Top Team versus VOW, and some of that stuff on that show. Taya versus Ivelisse. If those people weren't on that show, nobody would have ordered it. At least, most people wouldn't have. But since there were Impact people, Impact fans who were loyal and went, you know what? You guys are doing this with Impact. We want to show our appreciation and our support to this. So a lot of them will go follow Pro Wrestling Noah, AAA, Crash Lucha, right? They'll support that. So whenever you see these things on Twitter, it's like, okay, well, I guess Ishimori is going to win the next title, and then you hear Josh say this stuff, and it just ruins the whole thing. After the match, though, I thought it was really cool. Desmond Xavier, I kind of only caught like the last end of this. I had to get up and take something out, and I was like, oh shit, this is, oops, part I probably need to see. But Desmond Xavier was asking, what I got out of it was he was asking Ishimori for us, them to have a second go around. This time it's for the title. They shook hands. I'm guessing that means that he was asking for a title shot. I'm guessing that means that Ishimori was accepting. So hopefully that's happening soon. That would be an awesome match again to see, especially for the title. and especially if they just let them go, which Impact usually does. Um, Now we go to the Grand Championship triple threat match of EC3, Fallah Bahh, and Matt Sydal. In round one, Fallah Bahh dominated and won. Now they stopped doing the 10-10, 10-9, 10-8, whatever the hell they were doing. Scoring, they just very quickly. Again, I don't mind the concept. The execution just isn't that great for this Grand Championship match. Um, just really quickly, like they never even show anybody walking over and checking the judges or anything anymore, and it's just Fallah Bahh wins round one. Oh, okay, okay, but you know what? Good. He dominated. They make him look actually pretty good in that first round. Um, Round two, EC3 won, and I thought this round was actually a better match. And it was mainly due to EC3 and Matt Sydal putting on a really good match and doing some pretty cool stuff. And like EC3 being able to just launch Sydal into Fallah Bahh on the outside like that was really cool. Of course, EC3 won. I thought it was also very showing that EC3 was very dominant in that round as well. And I just thought that was overall just a better visual match than what was happening in the first round. And then round three, it's a little more kind of all three doing well. Matt Sydal just barely lost because it was 1, 2, and then 3. Oh man, you just missed out by a second. So that kind of goes more into like he choked, but he didn't because the rounds, it's all messed up, and EC3 uses the rules to his advantage and this and that. I'm hoping, and especially with Matt Sydal had a promo later talking about, I want, no more rule of the 3-round rules, no judges, no this and that. I just want to take you on for that title one-on-one in a normal match and see who the actual better wrestler is. Hoping that means that's leading to a no more rules, no more Grand Championship rules, and they just make it a good, legit mid-card title. And really just, do like, I really hope they do like what I said, and I'll book it for the rebranding of Impact Wrestling, and that is, you can make this title seem, you can turn this title into what the X Division title was back in like 05, 06, 07. And by that, I mean, you can make this title, have anybody can win this title. Like, you can be X Division, you can be an actual mid-carder, or you could be a World Heavyweight Champion, former or main eventer of some sort. And you can have different people hold this title at different spots. But what you need to do, I think initially, that whoever wins this title next, or even if it is EC3, and in my video I put that it should be EC3, holds onto this title for like a year and beats people. And I'm not talking, I mean, it could be, if it is a heel, yeah, you can have him kind of dastardly do it and cheat to win sometimes. But make it, not that he's being a chicken shit heel, but make him more like, he has to have this title. This title's so important to him. In dire need, he's going to do what he needs to do to win. And the way you do that is you make commentary, put it over like that. But whoever it is that takes this title, now, like I said, I would actually name it the TV title, and it is fought every week on Impact. Because then, what you really want to do is you really want to put it on people that you want showcased and saying, this is who Impact Wrestling is. And really get them ready to be now the World Heavyweight Champion. And then that person who will represent Impact Wrestling can go over and travel all over and fight in the Indies with that title belt and be like, I'm the best champion there is. And so you got to do that. So you got to make that title just as important as the World Heavyweight Championship. And how you do that is you put it on a guy that you know should be a World Heavyweight Champion, hence why I say EC3, that can talk, that can just put on a great wrestling match, that can tell a story in the ring, um, and that can go. And have him hold on to it, like I said, for like a year and a half. Do like an RVD run back in the day, or do like I said, like a Jay Lethal run with the TV title, like he had in Ring of Honor not too long ago. For people that, you know, didn't live back in the 90s, or at least not old enough to remember RVD holding on to that TV title for like 2 years. You need to do that type of run because he didn't even give a shit about that ECW title. He wanted that. He all he wanted was his TV title, and that's what you got to. That's how you got to book that title to make it mean something, and that's kind of how the X Division title was about that 05 to 07 stage. It was so important. That's why it headlined a pay per view. That's why you would have guys like Joe and AJ who were both fighting for that and also going back up and fighting for the world heavyweight title and then coming back down the X Division title, and it didn't seem like a drop off because it meant that much. It was just as highly regarded as that world title. It just, you know, some were older main eventer guys, and this was kind of for more like the indie darling main eventer guys at that time. And you could do that again with with like a TV title. I'm saying you could still call it the Grand Championship, and you're the Grand Champion. If you really just didn't want to have to change the name of the title too, because too much rebranding, right? So you could do that too, and I don't think it changed a thing. You still treat it like that. Yeah, so I don't know. Either that or like one thing I was starting to think is here lately, since EC3's been the Grand Champion, he wins always by judge's decision, and it kind of seems no matter who the judges are, and no matter how that third round goes, he somehow wins and he somehow retains. You know, he's having problems with Bruce Pritchard. Well, Bruce Pritchard still, for some reason, gave the title to him, right? All these other kind of just random judges, aren't always known judges, but, you know, it just always seems like there's a situation. He always pulls it out. Somehow the judges let him retain. I would think it'd be really, really cool, and it would fit into his, like, you know, rich boy gimmick, that he's paying off the judges, and that's how he's keeping a hold of that Grand Championship. I think that would be awesome. I think it'd be a really cool, different kind of story that they could go with this. And then that could also be how you get rid of the Grand Championship rules to keep people from being able to cheat like that and, you know, pay off judges to get wins. I think it'd be cool. I think it'd be different. And then that would also kind of be a cool, like a little bit better of a storyline way to get rid of the rules instead of just whoever could be an authority figure come out and be like, we're getting rid of those rules. We're changing the title. Like, I think it'd be a better story to weave into transitioning to just like a normal mid-card title. Alrighty. Need to get a quick drinky here. But this next segment, I got a lot to talk about. Dan Lambert versus James Storm. Now, before this match, a little bit before this match, they show Moose walking in the back and Cam takes him out. Again, Wrestling 101. We know what's coming. We also know what's coming because of all the rumors of the fact that James Storm is done. They're getting rid of him. He's going to WWE, everybody. Also, just in case people didn't know, you know, even though I believe EC3's contract's not up for a little bit, he's already headed to NXT, guys. It's already been, it's done. He's got the contract already signed, I guess. I don't know. And I know there's still a chance that he will whenever his contract is up, but I can't remember exactly when, but it's not until like the summer, right? Or spring or summer, whenever his deal's up, or February maybe. I don't remember, but I know it's not like up now. I know it's not going to be up by this next set of tapings. I think it's not until like spring or summer, I think. Um, but yeah, so I saw somebody with the uh, on Twitter. Can't remember what dirt sheet it was. It says EC3 headed to NXT already. Wow. Okay, cool. But anyway, so yeah, so we all, of course, we already knew because, like I said, everybody said James Storm was going. So we knew this was probably the last time that James Storm was going to be wrestling for Impact Wrestling. Again, early in the night, Dean Lambert's like, "I got this, guys," and then Cam takes that move. So we all knew what was coming. This match, thankfully, is exactly what I was hoping we would see out of this. Wasn't a match. Wasn't even like Storm got anything in. It was, if you're gonna have him, like, there should be no showing of competitiveness whatsoever. There, just if you want Daniel Lambert to be a legit crazy bad heel that he's doing very well at, this should have ended like this. Just attack, boom, done. And that's exactly how it was. It took a lot to take Storm down, which is good. To show him a little bit of respect. And as far as the match goes, like, if this wasn't his last match in Impact Wrestling, I'm okay with this match. If this is his last match in Impact Wrestling, as a long-time James Storm fan, like I've said this many times, he's easily one of my favorite wrestlers. Definitely one of my current wrestlers. Definitely one of my top 3 all-time Impact Wrestling favorites. It's AJ Joe, James Storm. Period. Those 3 are my top 3 of Impact Wrestling history. This pisses me off if this is how he goes out. And I get it. They're trying to get... If AT&T is sticking around for a while, and I could see this happening, them kind of becoming, instead of like the cool, bad heel gimmick fashion, they're just a straight-up heel fashion that everybody hates. And they work. They work. Like, they're trying to invade Impact, but they're not coming out and being like, hey, we're coming to invade Impact. They're just talking about taking out pro wrestling, period. They're better than pro wrestling. And I kind of like it. And it works. Dan Lambert's amazing on the mic. You got King Mo, who's okay. Lashley's obviously a good wrestler. Cam's a good wrestler. If Cam's actually legit joining them. You got 3 guys that can, put on matches. And then you got the rest of the guys that are just kind of like thug guys that can help beat people up, right? I think his name's Josh Hartnett. No, Josh Hartnett. I can't remember what his name is. The guy that's like the president or something, or general manager of AT&T. It's Josh something, but it starts with H. He got another super... He's the only one that got hit. He got hit with the last call. I have to say, every time he gets hit, that it just makes me laugh. You can tell he's probably just having a blast, too, doing this. So it's really cool, whenever I see something like that. And they all seem to be having fun, the AT&T guys. And that's always cool to see, too. But and really, this is why, more than anything, it makes me mad. Seeing this being the way that Storm goes out. Gail Kim's leaving, too. She won a title on her last match. And then whenever she shouldn't have. And when they made this big ordeal about it for weeks. And I'm not saying Gail doesn't deserve it, but how can you do that for somebody like Gail Kim? And then you have one of the only guys, besides Jeremy Borash, that's been there since the exact day one. Abyss was there shortly thereafter, but he was legit on first show. I mean, he has done wonders for this company. And I'm not saying that he should have won like a title or been in a title thing on his very last feud out. But put him in a feud with somebody really, like a really good wrestler that you're trying to get over. Let him have like a good competitive match that just They were the better man that night and got over and beat him. You know what I mean? Like, he deserved better than that. Now, this is where things get interesting. Call me a wrestling mark, I don't care. Because I have watched wrestling for a very long time. And here lately it's been harder and harder for people to work the fans. But sometimes, if you do it on unorthodox ways, you can still do it. Now, the second anybody's rumored to possibly be done wrestling or their contract could be up, there's probably not even talk about the wrestler themselves thinking about leaving. Their contract's up at a certain time. They'll have to renegotiate, or maybe they want to take some time off and then they'll renegotiate and they'll come back. They might never even want to step foot in a WWE ring. The second their contract is up, anywhere, it doesn't matter if they're with New Japan, Impact, Ring of Honor, just an indie guy, Lucha Underground, it doesn't matter. The second they know that they're within months of, their contract being up, they're heading to WWE. WWE is interested in no shit, because they're trying to sign up everybody. For I don't know why they only have 3 shows and they don't even get people on TV now as it is. There's always these rumors. Now, I'm not saying that they're totally wrong. He could be going to WWE. But, because one thing that kind of made me mad was the fact that they cut off those appreciation chants, thank you Storm, whatever else that they ended up doing. They didn't show him like waving to the crowd, or they didn't show him doing anything as far as, really kind of emphasizing, no, this is his last call, this is his last match. Okay, we're going to break kayfabe now to kind of like let everybody appreciate him and give him a good send-off, whether it's on TV or not. They cut it off and went to commercial. I was kind of pissed about that. I was like, come on, man, show that like the fans really appreciate him. Show that stuff. And then they did the whole, they have just random wrestlers there. I mean, they even had like John Bolin, like just standing back there clapping as James came back and giving hugs, and I'm sure some of them James are friends with. I think some of them probably he isn't. Like, he probably doesn't even really hang out with them outside of, oh hey, we're in the same locker room. And then they shot the footage of him making the fake phone call to, I'm guessing, his wife, and then kind of staying there. I don't think you do that unless there's a payoff. I really don't. I know people are going to call me crazy. People are going to say I'm stupid. No, he's leaving. He's out of here. I'm starting to think maybe not. I'm starting to think this is a story. And I know, trust me, I know it's weird. I just have this feeling. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but they did the whole angle before where Storm was, saying, "Fuck this, I quit," screw, and he kind of went on like a shoot work thing that I think they never really showed it on TV. They showed a little bit of it, but it was during the Billy Corgan thing, and then of course the rumors started flying. Oh, he's going back to NXT. He's going back to NXT. And no, he showed back up in Impact Wrestling with the DCC. I'm not saying that they're bringing back DCC. Could be kind of cool to give him a kind of a second run. But he could be coming back as part of the story here. Maybe they're, maybe we do get to Lockdown. Because we all know that's coming up, right? We get to Lockdown. And the Lockdown finally gets to be AT&T versus Impact Wrestling, or Team Moose versus Team AT&T. And either on the Go Home show, or they don't find out until that night of Lockdown who the final member of Team Moose is. And here comes the last person Sorry about your damn luck. Here comes James Storm. That would be nuts. And I'm not saying, he can still do some indie stuff, take some time off, get some rest, and then come back. He's getting up there. He might just want some time off. And during that time, they're just going to let his contract run out, and then they'll renegotiate with him whenever they get closer to the time that they need to do it. I don't know. I definitely believe that he was probably gone because there's not a whole lot left for him to do in Impact. Outside of maybe another good World Heavyweight Championship run. But at the same time, I just don't see why they went that long with the backstage footage, because it wasn't like just a normal, just kind of like, hey, we captured this. It definitely, they put their filter on, they made sure that you could hear what he was saying. It just felt very produced. It just did, to me. It felt produced. It felt like it was part of the story. So again, I know I'm crazy, but I know a lot of people saw my tweet last night. They probably thought I was just going to go ranting off and saying how bad this is and this is stupid and everything else. It was to a point. But if this is a story, everything that happened in that match I'm cool with. If it's not, then yeah, I go back to being a little pissed off. But there's a bit of me that's starting to think this is a story. Like I said, I just don't see why you film all that stuff in the in the backstage. And it was really that phone call. That's where I went, you don't film this unless you have a payoff in mind. Like, you just don't film hey, James, you want to go ahead and have like a fake phone call to your wife about, hey, I'm coming home. Why? I just think it'd be really cool. No. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see how that would work. But alright, anyway, moving on. Started to run really long. So, we got the debut of Chandler Park versus John Bolin. Now, before this, they did a package of Joseph Park. Like, the kind of how he first started, whenever he's coming around looking for his brother Chris. Abyss. And, how he developed, and then we figured out, oh, he's both people, and moving on. So, out comes Chandler Park. And what I was really hoping for with this gimmick was going to be Chandler was hiding from his, what are they calling him, like his uncle or cousin? Can't remember now. If it's uncle-cousin relationship or, can't remember what it was. But that really, he's hiding from his family this aggressive side, this killer instinct guy. And what I was hoping for is he would get in the ring and maybe feel kind of timid until like he gets hit, and then he just goes ballistic and just dominates his opponent, and then pins in 1, 2, 3 and it's done. And then like he kind of goes back to hey, kind of guy. I think that would have been cool, because then that follows with the whole Joseph Chris thing, right? Joseph Park and Abyss, split personality thing, right? Now he's got just like this anger issue. And that could be really a really cool dynamic. But they didn't. They're going with, and again, in a nutshell, I'm fine with the way that they're going, because I can see it coming a mile away. Excuse me. I can see it coming a mile away. They're going to do exactly what they did with Allie and with Joseph. These people coming in, oh man, I'm going to try this. Oh, what? Is this called a headlock? Whoa, okay. And then just gradually all of a sudden, like, be good. Which, again, if we didn't already see it with Joseph Park and with Allie, be like, oh, okay, this is kind of cool. It's different. All right, I'm fine with this. But we just got on seeing it not that long ago with 2 other wrestlers on your roster. So I don't like that. They could have gone kind of with the same kind of thing, but just done a different twist on it. Like I said, he can be the goofy kind of, oh, gee golly guy, but he's got anger issues, and the second you touch him, he goes ballistic. I mean, he's a big dude, right? Why not just, I'm going to cover up that light. I'm feeling it's like, sorry. Anyway, apologize for that random light that was like right on the side of my face there. You can't do it that quick, all of a sudden like that. You've got to change it up a little bit. But overall, the match was fine. I mean, again, it was nothing really to it. Yeah, nothing to it. Joseph kind of helped him win, and then he did a roll up. At least, like with the roll up, Chandler part. Excuse me, jeez, it's bourbon. Woo. Did a really strong roll up to make it believable. Like, of course, the wrestler can't get out, because if you just do like this, like really weird schoolboy roll up that looks kind of weak, since he's not really a wrestler, the wrestler should be able to kick out of it. But he leaned so far over that nobody was going to kick out of that. So I liked how he executed that. Thought that was really well done. But yeah, I'm still interested to see where this all goes, see what happens between him and Joseph as far as how the relationship develops. And I'm all for their funny commercial promos. They are hilarious. And then, of course, we got that Macedo promo. Again, I already talked about that earlier. Then we go to something I was looking forward to until today. Well, not today, yesterday, during the day, where all of a sudden they started talking about, well, it came from WrestlePro. Like, wait, I thought this match was actually happening in the Impact Zone. Once I found out it happened at, like, a WrestlePro, I lost interest, because I guarantee you they did not have, at not their taping, a title change hands. Until they do that, whenever these segments come up, of things that were taped at another promotion, I'm not going to care. Because, here's the thing, they edit these so much and cut it up so much, there's nothing to watch to really get me to buy into it. We just see highlights. And, that's my biggest problem with New Japan on Access. I can't watch it because they cut and edit a lot of their matches to where you're like, oh, well, I know a lot of times it's, they're kind of cutting these slower parts of the match, but there's a reason why they're in there. It's called ring psychology, and it allows you to invest and gives you time as a fan to sit there and be like, okay, well, what's really going to happen? And just emotionally get invested into the match. And whenever it's just all cut up and you're just kind of seeing highlights, I just don't care. And this is something that also going forward, because I'm sure this is something that they're going to keep doing matches that taped at other promotions and then have them shown on Impact. And I do like that whenever it's just a random match. But I want them to start showing them full length. Show the full length match. As best as you can at least. Also, don't have a representative there, and if there are 50 people in the audience, like there was at this show, don't put it on TV, because then you definitely look like a second-rate promotion. You look no better if you have especially your world heavyweight champion. You have your world heavyweight champion wrestling at this event, and you're putting it on TV. I mean, oh my gosh! Whenever they went up and wrestled into the bleachers, there was 3 people sitting up there. Oh my god, it looks so bad. People already shit on Impact enough for Impact Zone only having 1,000 people in it. You show up to this WrestlePro event and you're showing this on Impact, and there's 50 people sitting around the ring, or not even sitting, they're standing around the ring. That looks awful. I mean, it looks so bad. You can't put that on TV. And as a representative, you got to be at their show, and they're like, Listen, my guys can go on, but we're not putting this on TV. We're not putting this on TV. Maybe we'll do like a YouTube exclusive or something, but we're not putting this on our Impact show. I'm sorry. And just do it. You got to start doing that type of stuff if you're going to be in charge of Impact Wrestling. And again, like I said, you don't need to edit down. This show this was actually a fairly long 2 hours for me. It felt like a very long 2 hours, to the point of I started writing my notes for this match, and because this was happening at like 9:35, 9:40, and I was starting to sit there and be like, oh, this is the main event. I totally forgot about the LAX OVE match. I'm like, oh, this is the main event. Why are you having your main event edited? Like, you should just show this in full length. Why is this being edited? Why are we seeing, like, edited and cuts and stuff? I actually have that written down in my notes. Like, no need to edit down your main event. If you're going to film outside of promotion, then let it go in full. Even if it's not the main event, I'd like to see him in full. But if the main reason why I wrote this is because I thought it was the main event of the show. I'm like, oh my god, this looks so bad. Because I totally forgot the OVE LAX. Because usually recently, they've been letting their main events go about 30 minutes. It's usually the last 30 minutes of the show where you get like the introductions and then and all that stuff. Match isn't going 30, but the main event segment is the last 30 minutes of the show. So I was like, oh shit. But yeah, it still stands. Eli Drake wins. They come back from commercial. He does another kind of promo. His promos are always good. But yeah, I just, again, I couldn't buy into it. I couldn't care about it because I couldn't invest in that match because it's chopped up and cut and edited. And it's fine. I'm fine with them doing these things. Like I said, they just need to crack down on how the venue looks. How many people are there? How does this make your product look? They got to be more brand aware. They really, really do. And hopefully this next group does that, but you never know. But then we do get to the main event, OVE versus LAX. I like kind of the way they did this a little bit. OVE jumps LAX during their entrance, so they get the upper hand. They get in the ring. The match was absolutely great. I think this was probably the match of the night because they told an amazing story. Both teams fought like those tag team championships were the most important tag team championships in the world. All four of these guys are very good wrestlers. They did very good, very well timed, big spots, and I don't mean well timed as in like the move itself was well timed, like in the execution of the move. I just mean like they would build, like they do a bunch of moves and they'd build, and then there'd be a big move, and that would be like a good time to do it. So like the match was well paced. It was done really well. Again, all four guys are very good wrestlers. Obviously, like I said, match of the night, obviously. And thanks to things like Twitter, I knew that there was going to be a Barbed Wire Massacre match at some point, right? Because I know that they filmed it, so there's got to be another. Like, that's got to be what goes next if they continue with these shows. So I knew that LAX wasn't going to lose. But they had me so hooked into this match that I was still sitting there going, how are they going to get out of this? Because I don't, like, there's no way they're giving the titles tonight. Because I haven't, I've been good about not seeing spoilers outside of a handful of things. And this was one of them. I didn't know LAX was going to win the titles. I did not know they were winning back the titles. So, good on these four guys. They got me hooked into the match so much so that I forgot about the fact that, LAX could win. And they did. And I was super excited that they won the titles back. We got new tag team champions in LAX. As good as this feud is, I can't wait to see them bring in some more tag teams so we can really develop a really good tag team division and see LAX go on with somebody else, see OVE go on with somebody else for a while. have these two teams probably come back and face each other again in some crazy style match, maybe at Lockdown, or maybe even wait even further down the road and have those teams hook up with each other for Slammiversary in June. But yeah, guys, that's gonna do it. I've been going for almost an hour. Um, Hopefully, you guys don't think I was being too harsh on the product, on the show. I'm not. I'm just trying to critique things and give my point of views. What I do think it has been annoying, um, has looked bad, and hopefully things that uh, this new creative team going forward will correct and tighten up. Let me know down in the comments if you agree with me on some of these things, if you disagree with me with some of these things. I can't wait to hear what people have to say about my James Storm theory. I really can't. I think it's going to be fun. I'm always up for good, fun discussions. So hit me up down in the comments. Hit me up on my Twitter at Anthem of Impact. If you guys like my videos, like my reviews, like what I have to say about professional wrestling as a whole, please let me know by liking my videos, hitting that subscribe button, and hit the notification button to know whenever I'm going to be laying down these vids. You know what I mean? Anyway, probably not going to do an all book it this week. I'm going back to work, and we've got a lot of stuff going on. Not that I do all book it's all the time, but hopefully soon I'll be able to get more on the schedule with that. Do an all book it. I still want to do an all book it reforming Decay. But until probably next week, whenever I can review another episode of Impact Wrestling, and if any news breaks, I'll try to come on here and do a video. If not, check my Twitter, because I might do at least a quick Periscope. If any like crazy news breaks leading into Wednesday of these new tapings. So until then, Impact Nation, peace.